Hi, Bob Thompson for Smartphone Matters. Today we're going to talk about Google's Project Fi. If you read Smartphone Matters or you watch my YouTube channel, you know that I was in the process of signing up for Google's Project Fi, and I wanted to get a video update out to you guys and tell you how it's going. Up front, I guess I'm going to say here's a long video warning. I'm going to walk through the process and describe sort of what Fi is and what the experience was like signing up. The video might be on the longer side, so you've been warned in the beginning. Project Fi is Google's new wireless service. So what Google is attempting to do is innovate and improve on the current wireless experience. And they have several interesting features which are an improvement over existing wireless services, which we're going to talk about. But first, let me explain this up front. Google doesn't own their own wireless network like AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, or T-Mobile. They're what's called in the industry a mobile virtual network operator, or MVNO. They're similar to companies like Straight Talk and Net10, H2O, and Red Pocket. And what they do is they lease network service wholesale from other wireless carriers, and then they resell it to you. And in this case, Google takes care of all the sales, the marketing, the support, and the billing. And for Project Fi uses the T-Mobile and Sprint networks. Let's talk about some of the features, starting with the plan. All right, plans start at $30 a month. You're paying $20 a month for unlimited calling and text messages, and then you're paying $10 for 1 gigabyte of data. So the cheapest plan you can get is $30. But the interesting thing about Project Fi is that you pay for the data that you use, and you receive a credit back for your unused data. So suppose you sign up for Project Fi, you pay $30 for the plan with 1 gigabyte of data, and you only use 500 megabytes of data in a month. That's half of 1 gigabyte. You'd be credited back $5 on your next bill, so the bill for the next month would be $25. So you're only paying for the data that you use. And then if you use more than 1 gigabyte, you can buy an additional gigabyte of data for $10 for a month, and you'll be credited back for any portion of that extra data that you bought that you didn't use in the month. All right, a little bit about the network. Project Fi uses the T-Mobile and the Sprint network, but what's innovative is they combine the two networks together to give you better coverage. Supposedly, your device will switch between the two networks depending on whichever network has better coverage. They also support Wi-Fi calling. Now, it's not clear to me if you get access to any Wi-Fi networks that you wouldn't normally have access to. With Project Fi, I'm still trying to understand whether that's the case or whether it's just leveraging any open Wi-Fi networks it finds in your area, or if it just takes advantage of any Wi-Fi network that you're actually connected to. Next, Project Fi supports tethering or Wi-Fi hotspot. You can use Project Fi to connect your other devices like your tablet or your laptop to your device, and then use your Project Fi data. Finally, one of the things I think is really kind of cool is you manage your Project Fi account from an app that you can get in the Google Play Store. It's the Project Fi app. That's kind of an innovative feature. I think they did a pretty good job on that. So I want to talk a little bit now about signing up for Project Fi. The first thing you're going to need is a Google account. So if you have a Gmail email address, you're good to go. You have a Google account. And then you'll need to go to the Project Fi site and request an invite, because they're rolling out the service incrementally to customers. When you request that invite, they will essentially send you an email when they are ready for you. You can also go online and check the status of your invite on the website. And once you've been invited to join Project Fi, you'll go to the website and complete your sign-up. And you'll need to provide some payment information, your credit card, if you don't have one associated already with your Google account. And now here's kind of the next kicker is you can only use Project Fi with one phone currently, and that's the Google Nexus 6. And during the sign-up process, you'll be asked a few questions. You'll be asked whether or not you want to buy a Nexus 6 from the Google Store. They start at $499 new. And then you'll be asked whether or not you want to transfer your existing phone number to Project Fi. And in my case, I didn't have a phone number I wanted to transfer, so I just requested a new number. All right, so then once you do that, they're going to ship you out Google Project Fi SIM card, which comes in this sort of little package here. And you can see I've taken mine off the card. It's in the phone. It's a nano SIM because that's what the Nexus 6 uses. And then they ship you this Project Fi welcome kit. And you don't need any of this to use Project Fi. It just says on the bottom cover, thanks for being here from the beginning. These are for you. And it's a nice touch. They're giving you a few accessories. I showed some of this in my other video. They're giving you a case, a portable battery, and a set of headphones. And then the headphones have a splitter on it, so you have another jack coming out. You want to share listening with a friend or something like that. Again, nothing extraordinary, but kind of a nice touch that they do that when you're signing up. All right, so once you get the SIM card, you need to get your Nexus 6 ready for use with Project Fi. And primarily what that means is you just need to make sure that the phone is up to date, has the latest version of Android, and you install the Project Fi app that I was talking about earlier. And you actually complete the setup of your phone using the Project Fi app. So I installed the Project Fi app, and then I ran it. I didn't even really do anything in the app except logged in, I think. I logged in with my Google account, and immediately the phone was working. And I thought I would have to go through some other steps, but I guess they just remembered all the information that I had filled out before they sent me the SIM and the welcome kit. It seemed pretty good. I was getting an LTE connection. I tested the data. The data was working. And then I went to test MMS picture messaging. And if you follow anything on Smartphone Matters, you know a lot of the questions I get are about problems with MMS picture messaging. That's where I hit my first snag. I was able to send picture messages to my other phones, but I couldn't receive picture messages back. I would send them from the other phone, and I just didn't see anything. And then I started getting error messages on the Nexus 6 saying that these picture messages were expired, it couldn't download them, it wanted me to tap on a link to download them. Wasn't working. So I was thinking, well, this is not looking too promising. But two things happened. One, in the process of setting up the phone, I switched the default messaging app on the Android phone from something called Messenger, which was on here, to Google Hangouts, because it was my experience with pure Android on my Nexus 5 that Hangouts was the default messaging application. So I just figured that was what Google was using for the default app. The second thing happened was that I ran the Project Fi app again. And then at some point during the running that Project Fi app again, it said my activation wasn't completed and that I would need to tap this button in the app and the phone would reset and go offline for a while, and then when it come back it would work fine. Before actually I did that, I went in to the settings and I looked at the APN page under cellular networks, and I could actually go down to the APNs and see all the APNs on the phone. And I even, when looking at the APNs, I could tell that my phone was currently on the T-Mobile network. So I tried tweaking the APN type for the Project Fi settings, but it did not help. So anyway, once I was in the Project Fi app and I reset, pressed that button to complete the activation, the phone went offline for a while, and then finally when it came back, I went and I started testing picture messaging again with Messenger set as the default app, and everything was working great. So I did a little bit more research looking around, and I found out that Messenger is actually a Google app. I was not familiar with it. So it is specifically a Google app just for text, picture messaging, and group messaging. So you don't need to use Hangouts if you want to use a Google app. All right, I think that's it for the sign-up process. So it all went pretty smoothly. And you can see here in the video, I am getting a LTE connection, and my phone appears to be on the T-Mobile network. So what's next? Well, I'm going to run some speed tests and then compare the speed with Straight Talk's ATT network. And I'm going to put that in a separate video, and don't worry, that's coming. I'm working on it. I need to try out the Wi-Fi tethering, right? So I can use the phone as a hotspot for my iPad or for my MacBook Pro. And I haven't tested that out. I want to see how well that works. And then I'd like to see if I could get the phone to switch to the Sprint network and see how well it works on the Sprint network. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that. I'm not sure what conditions they switch from one network to the other. We do have some pretty good T-Mobile coverage here in the Boston metro area now. It really improved over the last few years. And then finally, one of the cool features I forgot to mention about Project Fi was that you get international 3G data. So if you were to leave the country traveling, your data should work at 3G speeds, which they say is 256 kilobits. Not very fast, but if you left the country, you can still use your data. You're not paying any more for your data than you would if you were in the U.S. Okay, so let me take a minute and show you the Google Fi app, which I think is a really nice feature. When you open up the app, there's 3 tabs across the top: your account, the billing, and support. And I'm going to go over to support. So we're here 24/7. And then one of the cool things is it's showing you is you can get them on the phone or email. And it actually is giving you an estimated wait time. It's saying that if you get on the phone, you should get an answer within a minute. Pretty cool. If you've used any of the other prepaid wireless companies, you know that you can wait on the phone for an incredibly long amount of time for support. And then email, turnaround 1 to 4 hours reply, I think is pretty impressive. And then they have links to the Project Fi community, help, and then a way to submit feedback. And then the billing section just has information about your credit card, which I'm not going to show in the video. And then one of the things I think is really nice is that it shows you your current cycle. So my cycle is August 26th to September 26th, 27 days remaining, and I've used 0.31 gigabytes of data. You can click on this, and actually this graph will show you is you'll get a warning at 0.8 gigabytes of data. And then you can click on this button here, and it shows you a graph of your daily usage, and they break it down, and they show you how much data your device has used and how much tethered devices have used. I think that's pretty nice. And then if you scroll down, and I'm just going to scroll down about this far, hopefully not show my Google Fi number in the video, maybe I did. Your plan, it shows you the $30 a month, that I'm on the $30 a month plan. And if you scroll down to the bottom, it shows you the settings for your voicemail, the call forwarding, service address, alerts, privacy, and about. I haven't really gone through and set up the voicemail or tried the call forwarding or anything like that, but I think that's a nice touch. I know that Straight Talk and some of the other companies have recently released apps, and I haven't had a chance to load them and check them out, but this is the model people should really be going for, having you be able to see your whole account from an app on your phone. Makes it very, very easy to use. All right, so let me summarize. There are a lot of good ideas with Google's Project Fi. Pros: you get a $30 unlimited talk, text, and 1 gigabyte of data, and that's competitively priced compared to some of the other companies. It's not an amazing deal, but it is really one of the best deals I think I've seen for a plan with 1 gigabyte of data. And your data usage is prorated. If you don't use the data, you don't pay for it. So I think that's great for a lot of people that don't have heavy data needs. Mobile hotspot. You can connect your other devices to this phone. You can use the data from your phone with your tablet or with your laptop. Very convenient, and that's something that's against the terms of services and a lot of other prepaid wireless. And then finally, the international 3G data at no additional charge. So if you are somebody that leaves the country, going to Canada, Mexico, around the world, you should be able to get 3G data, which is 256 kilobytes speeds at no additional charge. All right, so let's talk about some of the limitations, and there are quite a few. The first and biggest limitation is that to use Project Fi, you have to have a Google Nexus 6. If you don't have this phone or don't want to buy it, you can't use Fi. The reason that you need to use this one specific phone is because they've updated the software to be able to support dynamically switching between the Sprint and T-Mobile networks. You know, perhaps over time, other carriers will come out with phones, or they'll find a way to make it work with other phones on the market, so you can do kind of like a bring your own phone. But right now, this is the only game in town. So if you don't want to use a Nexus 6, Fi is not for you. The second issue is it requires an invite to sign up. So even if you wanted to use the service, you first need to request an invite, and then finally, you need a Google account. So I think most everybody has a Gmail address these days, even if it's not your primary email address, and use it. But if for some reason you just are opposed to using any Google services, or you don't want to have an additional email account, a Google account. All right, so is Project Fi right for you? Well, let's take a look at the plan and do a comparison. So if you had a Straight Talk BYOP plan, you'd get 5 gigabytes of high-speed data for $45 a month. $45 a month on Fi gets you unlimited calls and texts with 2.5 gigabytes of data. You still get those other advantages we talked about, like tethering, being able to buy more data, international data, but you're getting less high-speed data for $45 than you would with Straight Talk. You're getting half. 5 gigabytes of data on Fi would cost you $70 a month. So now you're getting up into the range of what it would cost you to use a smartphone with AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, or Sprint. So on cost alone, it depends on how much data you use a month as to whether this is worth it, because your data is prorated, so you'll only pay for that data if you use it. All right, the network. Project Fi combines the Sprint and T-Mobile networks and Wi-Fi to provide coverage. Okay, this is better than being on either the Sprint or T-Mobile network exclusively, which is the case with some prepaid wireless companies. So like a lot of the prepaid wireless plans they offer, like Family Mobile and a few of the other ones that they offer at Walmart, are exclusively on the T-Mobile network, which often doesn't have as good coverage as AT&T's network and Verizon. And then similarly, there are other prepaid networks that exclusively use the Sprint network. So using the Sprint and T-Mobile network combined is an advantage. But still, I wonder, is being on a network that combines T-Mobile and Sprint better than being on the AT&T or Verizon network exclusively? I think that probably depends on where you use your phone most. All right, well, if you're with me after all this, thanks for watching. If you found the video useful, give us a like on YouTube. If you want to see more videos like it, subscribe to the Smartphone Matters YouTube channel. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave a comment on the YouTube video, or head over to the companion article on Smartphone Matters and leave a reply there. And I'll try and get back to you and answer your question. Thanks for watching.